जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरधरि जय गोपी जन जय गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरधरि जय गोपी जन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Madhava Madhava Hare Radha Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी So today reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, text number 20. Yo vidyānupahatopi dasardhavritya nidramubah jatharikrita lokayatra antarjale kasipur vasanukulam vimurmimalini janasya sukham vivinvan. Yo vidyānupahatopi dasardhavritya nidramubah jatharikrita lokayatra अंतर्जले कशिपुरस्पर्शानुकूलम् मोर्मिमालिनि जनश्च सुखं विविन्वन् यो विदयानुपातोऽपि दशार्धभृत्या निद्रामुवा जठरीकृतलोकयात्रा अंतर्जले कशिपुरस्पर्शानुकूलम् विमोर्मिमालिनि जनश्च सुखं विविन्वन्. पिदशार्धभृत्या निद्रामुवाह जठरीकृतलोकयात्र अंतर्जले कशिपुरुषानुकूलाम् विमोर्मिमालिनि जनस्य सुखं विविन्वन्. यो विदयानुपातोऽपि दशार्धभृत्या निद्रामुवाह जठरीकृतलोकयात्र अंतर्जले कशिपुरुषानुकूलाम् विमोर्मिमालिनि जनस्य सुखं विविन्वन्. यो विदयानुपातोऽपि दशार्धभृत्या निद्रामुवा जठरीकृतलोकयात्र अंतर्जले कशिपुरुषानुकूलम् कर्मिमालिनि जनस्य सुखं विदयानुपातोऽपि दशार्धभृत्या निद्रामुवा जठरीकृतलोकयात्र अंतर्जले कशिपुरुषानुकूलाम् विमोर्मिमालिनि जनस्य सुखं विविन्वन्. यो विदयानुपहतोऽपि दशार्धभृत्या निद्रामुवा जठरीकृतलोकयात्र अंतर्जले कशिपुरुषानुकूलाम् Mimurmimalini janasya sukham vivindvan. Word by word translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ya 1. Avidya, influenced by nations. Anupahata, without being affected. Api, in spite of. Dasardha, 5. Vritya, interaction. Nidram, sleep. Uvaha, accepted. Jathari, within the abdomen. Vita, doing so. Loka yatra, maintenance of the different entities. Antajale, within the water of devastation. Ahi Kashipu, on the snake bait. Parsa Anukulam, happy for the thoughts. Hima Urmi, violent waves. Malini, chain of. Janasya, of the intelligent person. Sukham, happiness. Vibrinvan, showing. My Lord, you accept the pleasure of sleeping in the water of devastation, where there are violent waves, and you enjoy pleasure on the bed of snakes, showing the happiness of your sleep to intelligent person. At that time, all the universal planets are stationed within your abdomen. Please repeat. My Lord, you accept the pleasure of sleeping in the water of devastation, where there are violent waves, and you enjoy pleasure of the bed of snakes, showing the happiness of your sleep to intelligent persons. Time, all the universal planets are stationed in your abdomen. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. So Brahmaji is praying to the Lord and the creative energy. Is about Lord accepting the pleasure in station water, sleeping on the bed, snake bed, and saw in his heart how Lord is sleeping, how the everything was there. To describe what he saw is what he describes. The Lord takes pleasure in sleeping the water of devastation. Although there are violent waves, still the Lord enjoys pleasure on the bed snakes. And Lord shows this happiness to enliven the intelligent persons. Only the intelligent person comes to the knowledge of the Lord. Just like Bhagavatam 11th canto tells, intelligent person will worship the Supreme Lord in the Lord Chaitanya in the Kali Yuga. And those who are not intelligent, they will not worship Lord Chaitanya. That's how intelligent and non-intelligent persons are distinguished. Those who are intelligent, those who have sufficient knowledge, they come to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead is uh, the Supreme Controller is the one person and they surrender to him. Bahunam Janmanam Mante Gyanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlava. After many births and deaths, one who is sufficient intelligent surrenders unto Vasudeva, knowing he is the ultimate source of everything. The same way here, the intelligent person, the Lord shows the intelligent person how he takes pleasure on sleeping on the devastation water, although there are violent waves and many other discomfortable things, but the Lord is sleeping on the top of the snake. So even the waves are violent and everything, but the Lord sleeps in the snake, so the waves doesn't toss to the Lord. At that time, all universal planets are stationed within your abdomen. Where all the planets go? Within his body. That is the Lord. So all these thousands, billions of planets are there in universe, and these various planets, which even Brahmaji cannot count within his lifetime, they all merge within the abdomen of the Lord. So such is the place where Lord keeps everything. How big is that Lord? To hold the entire planetary system within his within his abdomen. The Lord is extremely big, but he sleeps in the water of devastation, and then all planets are within his abdomen. Purport. Persons who cannot think of anything beyond the limit of their own power are like frogs in a well who cannot imagine the length and breadth of the great Pacific Ocean. An example is given like a frog. Frog only knows his well, and behind the wave he doesn't know. There's a story like how one time a frog from the other side of the ocean came. A frog who had seen the ocean that came and asked the other frog who was in the well, and he said, the ocean is much bigger than your well. He could not understand it. He expanded his body. How big is it? How big is it? This big? And he expand his body. No, it's bigger than that. Eventually, his body breaks open, and the frog dies trying to measure the ocean. So this way, a frog cannot understand how big the limit of the power of the Lord is. So persons who cannot think of anything beyond the limit of their own power are like frogs in the well who cannot imagine the length and breadth of the Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean is very big. It takes 12 hours flight from one side of the Pacific to reach to the other side of the Pacific. If you fly from San Francisco and to reach to the Hong Kong, it takes 12 hours flight. So that big is the Pacific. So uh, same way, the frog cannot understand the length and breadth of the Pacific. Same way, the limited minded people cannot understand how big the Supreme Lord is. Such people take it as legendary when they hear that Supreme Lord is lying on his bed with the great ocean of the universe, within the great ocean of the universe. So when we talk about the how God keeps the universe and how he is lying on the bed, snakes and everything, people cannot believe it. When they hear it, they think it is just a legendary, like a fairy tales. They are surprised that one can lie down within water and sleep very happily. It is a funny thing for ordinary person to imagine somebody can lie down in the ocean and sleep peacefully. There's water everywhere. How do you lie down? You can lie down. The Lord, the Hirudakasai Vishnu, Mahavishnu lies down in the Karana ocean, the causal ocean, and he breathes thousands of universes from within his body. So such a thing is there, but for an ordinary person to believe it is a hard subject matter. How it is possible that somebody lies down when the wave? waves of water are coming and everything. But the Lord is such that Lord can do it. There is nothing impossible for the Lord. And he can lie down in the water and sleep very happily also. There is no problem for the Lord to sleep in the devastation water. He sleeps peacefully and takes pleasure. But a little intelligence can mitigate this foolish astonishment. Only a small intelligence is required. If the Lord can enter in the atomic particles of the universe, he can also sleep in the causal ocean because everything is expanded by him, nothing is beyond him. That's why everything uh, is within his reach. There are many living entities within the bed of the ocean who also enjoy the material body activities of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. There are many living entities within the bed of the ocean who also enjoy. Yeah. So many living entities within the water. How many kind of species are there? There are more than those who stay in the land. Thousands of living entities they stay and take pleasure in the water of the ocean. And then they are all enjoying their material bodies of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. If such insignificant living entities can enjoy life within the water, why can't the Supreme Lord, who is all powerful, sleep on the cool body of a serpent and uh, enjoy in the turmoil of violent ocean waves? So the Supreme Person is powerful. If the ordinary living entities can live peacefully in the ocean water, the Lord can also enjoy sleeping in the devastation water. It is not hard to imagine because those who are created by the Lord Himself are enjoying the ocean water. They are sleeping, mating, defending, doing all their activities. The shark is always there in the ocean water. He's enjoying his life. Same way, there are many other fish like the whales, and they stay and enjoy their life of sleeping, mating, defending. So if they can, the Lord can also do that. Lord can do everything. So the Lord can enjoy the sleep within the devastation water, lying in the serpent bed. So the violent ocean water or ocean waves doesn't disturb the Lord. He sleeps peacefully there without the disturbances. The distinction of the Lord is that his activities are all transcendental and he is able to do anything and everything within being without being deterred by limitations of the time and space. So time and space does not disturb the Lord. Because the Lord's activities are all spiritual, they are transcendental. So that's why, without being deterred by limitations of time and space, the Lord enjoys the sleep within the water of the Lord, water of the ocean. So that is the difference between other living entities. Sometimes other living entities are disturbed in the ocean, but the Lord is not disturbed. He can enjoy his transcendental happiness regardless of material considerations. What happens materially does not affect the Lord. He, he is beyond the happiness and distress. The Lord is not affected by material happiness and distress. And a pure devotee who is dear to the Lord is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Those who tolerate the heat and cold, those who tolerate happiness and distress, uh, winter and summer, all these different things does not disturb the person is dear to the Lord. So same way, Lord has the same quality. He is not disturbed by happiness, distress, cold and heat, uh, and many other disturbances that happiness and distress and other things. He is not disturbed. He is always equal. Same way, a person who has developed such a thing, who is not happy when happiness desires and he doesn't enjoy happiness, and when distress comes, he doesn't cry. Such a person is dear to the Lord because that is the nature of the Lord. He is not disturbed by material. Uh, material considerations. So we'll read the next verse. यन्नाभिपद्मभवनादहमासमिद्य लोकत्रयोपकरणो यदनुग्रहेण तस्मै नमस्तौदरस्तभवाय योग निन्द्रावसानविकसन्नलिनेक्षणाय. Translation: O object of my worship, I am born from the house of your lotus navel for the purpose of creating the universe by your mercy. All these planets of the universe were stationed within your transcendental abdomen while you were sleeping, enjoying sleep. Now your sleep having ended, your eyes are open like blossoming lotuses in the morning. So now he talks about his birth from the navel of the from the lotus that sprouted from the navel of the Lord. So he says, I am born from the house of your lotus navel for the purpose of creating the universe by your mercy. So he knows what is his purpose at this time. At the beginning, he did not knew what was his purpose. So he started Shri Radha Madhava Hari ki jai, Sinaji Gopal ki jai, Shri Gauranitai ki jai. At the beginning time, he did not understand what is his purpose. So he was asking question and going and investigating the lotus, going down to the lotus to find out what is its roots and everything. But after he failed to do investigate the lotus and not finding the in of the lotus, he came back and now he concentrated the mind on the supreme, and eventually after long period time passed, he could he was able to see the Lord sleeping in the devastation water, and there the lotus is sprouted from his navel pit, and then Brahma was seated on top of the lotus. Everything he's able to see, and also he saw the creative energies. So that's why after this revelation in his mind, he started to pray that I am born from the house of your lotus navel for the purpose of creating the universe. Now he can understand he's meant for creating. Before he did not understand that his purpose was for the creation. But now he can understand that he is meant for creating the universe. But by what? By your mercy. Without the mercy of the Lord, you cannot create. At the beginning, he could have created, but he cannot, because without the mercy of the Lord, one cannot do a great work. Creating the universe, creating the living entities, and expanding the universe is not an ordinary work. It is a work of a God. So Brahma is meant for doing such a work, but that is possible only by the mercy of the Lord. Only if the Lord allows Brahma to create, he can create. If the Lord does not allow Brahma to create, he cannot create anything. So as long as that mercy is there, the Lord bestows such a mercy, then Brahma can create. So it is all on the mercy of the Lord that he can create, Shiva can destroy, and Vishnu can maintain. When the Lord Krishna doesn't allow such a energy, then nobody can do anything. So the whole thing depends on the Lord's mercy. All these planets of the universe were stationed within your transcendental abdomen while you were enjoying the sleep. So same thing is repeated just like the other verse, that entire planetary systems were all merged within the abdomen of the Lord, because they are transformed into little particles. Before they were expanded, but now they are, mm, they all merge within the body of the Lord, becoming very small particles. Sleep, your sleep have been ended. Your eyes are open like blossoming lotuses in the morning. The Lord has enjoyed the sleep, enough sleep. Now the Lord has opened his eyes, just like the blossoming lotus in the morning time. Lotuses all blossom because of the cold they get at night time, and then the moon puts the nice nap. To- because of the moon, the lotus are very grown up in the morning, and they are wide open. So same way, the Lord's eyes have been are open like the lotus in the morning. Let's read the purport. Brahma is teaching us the beginning of Archana regulations from morning 4 o'clock at night 10 o'clock. The process of Archana or worship of the Lord. He is teaching us how to do the worship of the Lord in the 4 o'clock and also at 10 o'clock at night. At night 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock usually is that's what it's right. So he's telling us that we start the Archana at 4 o'clock morning and we in our Archana at 10 o'clock. Early in the morning, the devotee has to rise from his bed and pray to the Lord, and there are other regulative principles for offering Mangala Arati early in the morning. So we get up in the early morning and do the Mangala Arati. Same. So Brahma is teaching us how to do these things early in the morning. Foolish non-devotees, not understanding the importance of Archana, criticize the regulative principles, but they have no eyes to see that the Lord also sleeps by his own will. So sometimes people will criticize, oh, you have deities, you put deities to rest and you wake up the deities in the morning. People foolishly think that Lord does not sleep or Lord does not get up. But here we can see from the verse that Lord also sleeps and Lord also wakes up. They wake up in early 4 o'clock and then they do service all day long until 10 o'clock, and at night they put the Lord to rest and devotees also take rest. So the same principle, just like the devotee has to take rest, the same way Lord also take rest many times. And when time comes, Lord wakes up. The impersonal conception of the Supreme is so detrimental to the path of devotional service that it is very difficult to associate with the stubborn non-devotees who always think in terms of material conceptions. Impersonal conception that God does not have a body or God cannot be a person is not a proper proper realization of the Lord, because Lord has a personal feature and Lord does just like an ordinary person does. He takes pleasure in sleeping or he takes pleasure in waking up. So this sort of things Lord does. That's why devotee is engaged in worshipping the deity form of the Lord in the in the temples. They put the Lord to rest, and at proper time they also wake up the Lord and engage in the service of the Lord. So this how Lord enjoys pastimes with his devotees. Impersonalists always think backwards. They think that because there is form in matter, spirit should be formless. Because in matter there is sleep, in spirit there cannot be sleep. And because the sleeping of the deity is accepted in Archana worship, the Archana is Maya. So these are impersonalist things. Thoughts of impersonalists goes this way. They think that because there is form in matter, matter has always a certain particular form, so spirit should be formless. That's what they think. Because in matter there is a sleep. In matter there is always a sleep, and then they think that spirit cannot be sleep. And because the sleeping of the deity is accepted in Arthana worship, the Arthana is Maya. So this is impersonalist thinking that माया नहीं है लेकिन जो लोग भगवान का रूप नहीं है बोल के सोचते हैं, उन वो लोग ऐसा सोचते हैं कि अर्चना माया है. Are basically material. To think either positively or negatively is still thinking materially. Knowledge accepted from the superior source of the Vedas is standard. So, most of the thing impersonalists think is all Maya. Deity in the temple is Maya. Uh, to think God can sleep is also Maya. God is formless. God is a spirit. So this sort of thinking are all not based on truth. But if we take the knowledge of the Vedas, superior source, Vedas, then we can understand the actual position of the being and the actual position of the what happens in the material atmosphere. Here in these verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find that Archana is recommended because Lord sleeps, Lord wakes up. So that's why doing the Archana is proper thing to do in the temple based on false conception. So recommended Archana is not out of the Vedic principles. Before Brahma took up the task of creation, he found the Lord sleeping on the serpent bed in the waves of the water of devastation. Therefore, sleeping exists in the internal potency of the Lord, and this is not denied by pure devotees of the Lord like Brahma and his disciplic succession. So sleep exists, even the Lord takes pleasure in sleeping, so that's why sleep also exists. And then devotees put the Lord in the would take care of the temple by waking up the Lord or sleep, making the Lord sleep. So these things are all spiritual activities. They are not out of the existence. Therefore, sleeping exists in the internal potency of the Lord, and this is not denied by pure devotees of the Lord like Brahma and his disciplic succession. So, disciplic succession accept the material activities of sleeping, waking up. These things are all accepted by devotees of the Lord. It is clearly said here that the Lord sleeps, sleeps very happily within the violent waves of the water, manifesting thereby that he is able to do anything and everything by his transcendental will and not by hampered by any circumstances. So Lord has his own sweet will, what is to be done and what is not to be done. So he sleeps and he also wakes up. So he is able to do anything and he is not disturbed by any other thing. This is transcendental activities of the Lord. Uh, that's why the Mayavadi cannot think beyond this material experience, and thus he denies the Lord's ability to sleep within the water. So Mayavadi means those who don't accept that Lord can have a spiritual body. They think that whatever uh, they could not think that Lord can sleep within the devastation water because Mayavadis, here Prabhupada says Mayavadis don't have experience beyond this material world. His mistake is that he compares the Lord to himself, and that comparison is also a material thought. So Mayavadis compare the Lord just like a human being, and then that's why they cannot think that Lord can do big things. So their comparison is also a material thought. The whole philosophy of the Mayavada school based on not this, not that, neti neti is basically material. So Mayavada philosophy is that not this, not that. Nothing is existing, so they cannot uh, understand that Lord can sleep in the devastation water. Such thought cannot give one the chance to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead as He is. So, neti neti philosophy cannot give one the chance to know as the Lord He is. The Lord, as a personal person, He does things, but Mayavada philosophy cannot understand as the Lord He is. So basically, these two verses uh, explain the Lord's sleeping in the devastation water. And then as he sleeps in the devastation water, he enjoys the sleeping. And when he wakes up, his eyes are like lotus, just sprouted in the morning. And there, Lord, just like lotus opens in the morning, the Lord's eyes are wide open and he is fully awake after the sleep. So this clearly shows that Lord takes pleasure in the sleeping also, pleasure on waking up. Just like person also takes pleasure in sleeping and person also takes pleasure in waking up, same way the Lord does same thing. He sleeps and he also wakes up. So same principle, Jiver Swarup Hai Nitya Krishna Das. The living entity is eternally the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and just like we have desires, the Lord have desires. Living entities have desire to sleep and also desire to wake up. Same way the Lord has desire to sleep and he also wakes up. That's why a devotee of the Lord, he wakes up early 4 o'clock and he puts the deities. He wakes up the deities and he does service throughout the day up until 10 o'clock, and again he puts the deities to rest. Same way in the morning, and Lord also takes pleasure in sleeping at night. Just like this verse shows, the Lord sleeps in the devastation water in his snake bed, and he also wakes up at certain time when creation needs to take place. Breaks his sleep and wakes and he's happy. So that is the main substance of these verses. If you have comments, निंद्रा का स्टार्टिंग हो, भगवान से ही नींद आती है, लेकिन भगवान, yes, in the devastation water, the Lord sleeps for a long time. He says some he sleeps in the devastation water for thousands of years. And then again when he wakes up, the Lord wakes up and he starts the creation for thousands of years also. Thousands of years he uh, takes pleasure in creating and developing living entities, and when devastation comes, he takes pleasure in sleeping for thousands of years, and all living entities stay in his abdomen, in his body. Dreaming is not mentioned. It doesn't look like he dreams. Yeah, we have not seen that Lord dreams. I think Lord does not dream. He doesn't mention that Lord dreams. That may be a difference because Lord's activities are spiritual. He doesn't need to dream. But we dream. The dream is just regular activities that we do. Daily activities we do is what comes in the dream. So the Lord would probably would not dream. Yeah, few things that we don't know sometimes we dream. But usually dreams are activities that we do. So but as for the Lord, dreaming is not mentioned anywhere. That Lord takes dream at the devastation water, such a thing is not mentioned. He just takes a sleep and take pleasure in sleeping. But the sleep is very long for thousands of years. So the living entity sleeps for 12 hours or 8 hours or 6 hours, but Lord sleeps for thousands of years when he has to sleep. Yes, the Lord needs to take rest because the Lord, when he puts everything within his body, there is some labor involved. Otherwise, why would he take rest? Yes, yeah, if you work hard all day long, then you get a good sleep at night because your body is tired. Same way, Lord has to annihilate the world and put everything within his body. That is a lot of endeavor. So when he does that, he has to take rest at night at devastation water. Well, it is mentioned that Lord takes pleasure in sleeping and he sleeps for many thousands of years. That automatically shows that Lord needs to take rest. Otherwise, if there is no need, why would he take rest? The Lord needs to take rest. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय.